a rapport, and it seemed like she wanted to talk with me about something, and I wanted to have that conversation, but I don't need to hold us up with it if it's
No,
okay.
not at all. Not at all. Let's have that conversation if you're up for it.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So back, rewind, maybe a day and a half ago.
Gotcha.
Back in the Queen's Hall. Just let me get us there. Do a little flashback. Let's see, sir. So you granted audience with Queen in mind,
Mhm.
and it's in her private chambers.
Okay.
And for a queen, her private chambers are modest, to say the least.
Mhm.
She is not a monarch who surrounds herself with lavishness or riches or gold. Her
Gotcha.
quarters, if you did not know it was the Queen's quarters, you would have mistaken it for servants. There's
Okay.
a simple bed, a small table, wooden chairs, and
Okay.
she invites you to sit with her.
Sure.
She does. The one difference is that she does have a servant
Mhm.
who retreats to uh, prepare some tea for you.
Okay. Yeah. I will sit down and just say, "Thank you for making the time to speak with me. I know things have been very busy of late."
Yes, I have, but it is so rare. In fact, I cannot recount any time an elf has visited West Haven. And I am happy that you are here. And I hope you don't mind my impertinence, but I am curious about a few things.
Of course. Feel
I
free
believe
to ask any questions that you have.
I believe you hail from Rivendell, or otherwise known as Imladris.
That's correct.
That is quite a distance from here, up the Grey Flood, from what I understand.
It has been
Many days
quite a
trip.
journey.
May I ask what a high elf of Rivendell is doing in the company of such that you keep?
Well, most of us have seemed to fall into these circumstances together, and we've continued to travel based on mutual interest. The reason that I left uh, Rivendell to come south was to deliver some documents to Isengard. And by that point, I had already made friends with all of the fine people that travel with me. And while they didn't all need to go there, they were willing to travel with me. Um, and then from there, we were supposed to meet up with Gandalf here to continue on to other things I believe Gandalf had in mind. But of course, that's not how it turned out.
I see. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Of course.
I hope I don't mean to pry, but I was simply curious.
It, curiosity is a wonderful trait and one that sometimes I wish some of my fellow elves still had.
Oh, they're not all like you then.
Ah, no, no. I think I mentioned it before. I am very young for an elf. And so
May I ask how old you are?
ah, I'm the exact years escape me, but it is over 600.
Her eyes widen when you say that. I can't imagine what it was, what it is like to have the gift of the Valar.
Well, sometimes I wish that I had had the opportunity to explore during those 600 years, but up until now, I have been confined to Rivendell and its valley, so I am very happy to finally get to see Middle-earth.
Well, I am happy that you here are here in my court, and I hope that your stay here has been comfortable.
Certainly, and also interesting. Uh, Obviously, fraught with complications, as all journeys are. Uh, but no, of the places that we have visited since beginning this journey, I would have to say that this has been the most welcoming.
I'm pleased to hear that. Can you tell me, what do you know of the Valar?
I I am a scholar, so I have read most, if not all, of the books in our library. Um, I unfortunately don't have direct experience because obviously, based on my age, I I didn't see them, but I do know of them. Do you have any specific questions?
I can see. Can you make an insight check for me, please?
Sure. Insight. And that is, if that's a success, it is a magical success.
Okay. She looks. You can tell there's more behind her question, and it
Mhm.
seems like it's a very deeply personal question for her.
Gotcha.
Um, she asks you quite bluntly, "Can you tell me? Do you know anything about the trial by sea?
Do I recognize that at all?
Can you make a history? No, sorry, old lore check."
Yes. Okay. Old lore.
Damn. So I don't know if you have been watching Rings of Power.
I watched the first season. I haven't watched
Okay.
the second yet.
Okay. I won't spoil anything for you then.
Okay.
Um, so there is an old Numenorian custom called trial by sea. When somebody stands accused of a crime, usually something really bad, they can
Mhm.
choose to have a trial by sea, which basically means they're putting their hands in their fate into the hands of the Valar. And
Gotcha.
they do this by walking into the sea, and there's a great sea monster that if they deem you unworthy or guilty, you get consumed.
Gotcha.
And this great sea monster is an avatar, a representation of Ulmo,
Mhm.
one of the Valar, god
Yeah.
of the sea. And with that natural 20, when she asks you about trial by sea, you're able to put two and two together.
Mhm.
And you remember the story of her ascension to the queen, to become
Yeah.
queen, where she basically sacrificed herself to the sea or whatever to defeat this monster
Mhm.
by Gandalf's counsel. And then they found her washed up on shore along with the dead serpent.
Gotcha. Mhm. Then I will respond and say, I am familiar with that custom, and it does seem to, in some ways, resemble the tales of your experiences. Have you had dealings with Olmo?
Unfortunately, my people are not very knowledgeable or remember the ways of our ancestors,
Mhm.
Numenorians, very well. And likewise, they don't really quite understand or remember the ways of the Valar. Uh, can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
No. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure our puppy got his meds.
No worries.
Um, um, so this is why I was hoping you might be able to explain to me. And she looks a little embarrassed now.
Mhm.
Says, you might be able to explain to me why I was spared and not only spared, but propelled to this seat. What plans the Valar might have for me.
Well, from what I have heard of your story, um, it's clear that even Gandalf believed that you had the capability of succeeding in that. And according to the trial, if you if you go out into the sea and you are not consumed, then you have the favor of Omo. So it's clear that the Valar may want you to lead your people. Now, are there any specific desires that they have? If they haven't told you, then I would just use your own judgment because you wouldn't be in this position if you weren't capable of making those choices.
Can you make another insight check on it, please?
Okay.
All right. As you say these words and you look at Queen Nimue, she almost shrinks in stature, and you can see beyond the crown and the robes, just a young woman.
Sure. Yeah, she doesn't want the responsibility, or she's afraid of the responsibility, maybe.
She seems uncertain about herself, like
Mhm.
why. And she says this I'm just the daughter of fishermen. I did not ask for this. Frankly, the attention and the adoration of the people of West Haven sometimes overwhelms me, and I don't quite know what I am doing. That's why I rely so heavily upon the council for their advice.
Well, seeking the advice of experts around you is a very good, um, it's a very good habit to have because if you were too confident, you wouldn't listen to the advice of people that may actually have a better understanding of the situation than you. And it's that lack of confidence that allows you to hear other people's opinions, beliefs, statements, and make more balanced decisions. You just need to remember that I feel like you have a strong moral core about you. And so if your advisors are suggesting something that you feel is wrong, you do have the final say. And as long as you remember that you don't have to make choices that you feel are wrong, then you can be free to take the advice when you don't think it's wrong and have confidence that you're making the right choice.
Wow, I'm relieved to hear you say that because despite the counsel, um, Captain Fleet, who has urged me not to trust you, my heart tells me otherwise.
And I appreciate your trust. And thankfully, the longer you do something, the better you are at doing it. I can say that for certain. The longer you do something, the better you are at doing it. Um, so your your uncertainty will always be there. It's it's what keeps you balanced. But your confidence should increase over time.
And she smiles at you when you say that. Says, thank you for your confidence and your kind words.
Of course. And if your people ever need more advice, you're welcome to seek the advice of the people of Rivendell. I know the exact location of Rivendell is not a known thing, but if you head in that direction, they'll find you. Um,
She kind
but
of, when you say this, she kind of cocks her head curiously at you, and it's funny you should mention this, for there are some in town, especially actually even before your arrival, who are curious about the location of your home. Imladris is not a name that the folk of West Haven would typically know.
yes, it in my travels, it has been concerning uh, how many people seem to be seeking this hidden haven, but it is not within my ability. It's not within my right to share that information with you.
Of course, of course. I would never ask you to betray your people. Uh, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Over the past several months now, there have been more and more, has been more and more trade with Umbar in the south, uh, mostly at the advice council of Mr. Fleet.
Mhm.
And as such, there are more strangers amongst us now. There is a growing unease in my heart. I do not wish to pass judgment on those that I that come to West Haven for trade or to live. But things, especially since you and your friends arrived, have accelerated in a way that frightens me.
Well, things, as far as I know, um, the shadows darken in the world right now. So things will get more dangerous. But being open to trade and allowing people who share your desire for a peaceful life to settle in your home, those aren't bad things. And even if something bad happens because you allowed people to arrive, that doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. Some things cannot be avoided completely, and the benefit outweighs the the loss.
I thank you for your counsel and your wise words.
Of course, it's
And
it's nice to be seen as wise sometimes.
I do hope that the people of West Haven and Rivendell might be able to forge a friendship over the years.
Certainly, we may not be staying much longer, but much longer might mean many generations. So that shouldn't affect you.
As long as I can lay the groundwork for such a friendship, I'm
Of
happy.
course. When I return to
And
Rivendell, I will certainly speak uh, good words about your home here.
smiles and bows her head. Thank you, Lady Eucalia.
You're welcome.
Uh, and um, she stands
Mhm.
and says, I unfortunately have court uh, things to attend to. So if you don't mind, I must be excused.
Of course. Thank you for your time, and I
No, thank
will
you.
get up and leave.
Can you make one more insight check?
Sure.
Wow. You're looking at her. You're now standing.
Uh-huh.
She's a young woman, probably early mid 20s.
Mhm.
And you got the sense from before that she feels like she's out of her depth here. And you
Sure.
look at her as she's standing, and you can tell she's itching for a hug.
Aw,
She's the queen, and she's not supposed to hug anyone,
sure,
right?
sure.
But she's still a young woman. She's
Um,
lost her parents since she was a kid. She hasn't had that
mhm,
contact with
mhm.
anyone in a long time. and you can tell she's craving it. She's standing there awkwardly a little bit. But
I'll just give her a warm smile, and I will hold out my arms as if like welcoming a hug so that she can take it or not.
all right, she.
They do when they see a poor child who wants a hug, okay?
All right, yeah. She first takes your hand for a moment, uh, and then she kind of pulls herself into a very quick and awkward embrace, a little pat on the back. She's gonna.
I will just like hold it for a moment just to, so that she doesn't feel like I am awkward in the hug. I'm just like, "Hey, no, it's okay. You can have a hug if you want one." And I'll just whisper to her, "It's all right. You can do this."
Um, mm. She accepts your hug. She kind of like sinks into it for a little bit. And you can just feel her relax just for a
Mhm.
brief moment. Um, and after a few seconds, she kind of regains her composure, pulls herself
Sure.
away, and kind of straightens her robes and says, but she's smiling.
Mhm.
She's says, "Thank you,"
You're welcome.
and she bows to you and leaves.
All right. And I return her bow and leave as well because I'm not just going to hang out in her room after she's left.
All right. And so we'll come back to Nimwi's Grace. So, Eucalio, do you recount any of your conversation or what interactions with the Queen with the rest of the group?
Um, hmm. I'm trying to think if Eucalio thinks that anybody in the group would like look down on the queen based on what I know. Cause like if I'm not gonna share like embarrassing personal things about her with them if I think that they're gonna hold it against her. But I feel like I probably will at some point like sit down with everybody and just, share like her concerns and,
Yeah.
my
Okay.
the fact that I'm impressed with her.
Okay. But you don't want to necessarily show or reveal how vulnerable she made herself to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep that to myself because I don't want to betray that moment of vulnerability.
Okay. And just to confirm, you still have the ring?
I do.
Okay. And I can't recall what happened to Fandel.
Fandel had gone to find someone to take a message and then he would have returned to me. If I remember correctly, the message was probably not still the case. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a message saying that we were going to be wintering in the Grey Havens. So it was a message to my father being like, "Hey, if you want to go visit, we'll be in the Grey Havens."
All right. Okay. So I'll say Fandel did his errand and has returned to you, so he's with
Yeah,
you on the boat now. All right.
gotcha.
All right. So, um, if you guys, hold on, do I have a map here?
I need a refresher on the end of the game last week. Um, where did we leave off with the beggar dude on the boat? I can't remember the how that resolved.
I think you just know that he's on the boat. I don't think you've done much about that fact yet. Is there something you'd like to do as you pull out from the harbor? This is the dead of night now that you're leaving.
Yeah, actually, I think we need to have a meeting in the captain's quarters with the group in private. So I'm going to try to get everybody's attention and nod my head back towards that way and walk that way after I've caught everybody's eye.
Okay.
Let
Captain's quarters.
Yeah, let Goldie untie herself so she can come join us.
Goldie has found the bucket, and she's not ready for this.
Mhm.
All right. Do you want Agra there or any member of the crew as well,
Nope.
or just okay?
Don't miss the party.
You're all gathered. What do you want to say?
Well, I think we have a little bit of catching up to do with each other since we've last had a chance to talk. I left a note for the Queen explaining our actions and that I felt the enemy's hand at work trying to interfere with the quest so that we had to leave without her permission and leave. And that we were sorry to have to do so, but we had to do what we had to do. Also, I feel that your Goldie's beggar friend is here on the ship as well. And I think we need to address that. I have a feeling that he is from Umbar, a spy, and he cannot go with us north.
I didn't get that impression from him. I do look forward to the opportunity of interacting with him for a little bit longer without interruptions, but I also don't think that we should sign him up to a journey that he may not want to take. Although I suppose that would be the same for the entire crew.
Well, we're going to have the crew. I mean, at least whatever Egray feels
Obviously.
we have to have, or we can't make the journey. So I don't know if opting for all of them just to leave the ship is a good idea in that situation.
No, no. I just meant in comparison that we're requisitioning all of them. So feeling bad about requisitioning one but not another seems a bit hypocritical.
Well, your beggar has Dunedain features, but he's not a Dunedain.
Yes, that's what I believe. So, of Numenorian descent.
Which means he's from the Southlands and not friendly, if that's the case. We are the North is not on good terms with the South.
True, but these people have traded peacefully. They aren't automatically against us. I think we should talk with him, or attempt to talk with him.
Maybe best we wait till we're far from shore.
True, but if we do decide that we shouldn't bring him with us, we'll need a plan about where we leave him.
I say we put him in a barrel and close the lid.
Put him ashore.
Yes,
There
if
are
he
fishing
is just
villages
an
on the
innocent
shore.
person who just we can't afford to bring with us, there's no reason to treat him harshly.
There are many fishing villages up and down the coast. We can just put him ashore at a village.
We have no idea who he is. Why don't we trust him? And if we don't trust him, why would we let him loose?
Well, he doesn't have anything that we're afraid of him sharing with others. So why would we need to keep him?
He was in cahoots with Fleet. That's my hunch.
Have you seen him do anything?
I said it was a hunch.
True. I'm just curious.
I don't like the looks of him.
Okay.
What is bothering you, Goldie?
Mhm.
We are on a ship and we left in the middle of the night. I don't like any of this. Why was he not talking though? Why was he just there and no one said, or everyone I talked with, he was just part of the box. He didn't say anything. And then the next day he's just talking after we talk with him. Yes. I don't know. I don't like ships.
Yes, I am very curious about what is affecting him to make him interact or not interact with people in the way that he does. But it doesn't seem like it's a choice that he's making, if that makes sense.
Well, if you want to talk with him, speak with him.
Yes, I'm more than happy to go try to speak with him some more. If anyone wants to join me. Is there anything else we need to discuss before we break this meeting? Some of you have very pensive expressions on your faces.
Who all knows about the journal with the page missing? Do we all know? Do we share the who found that out, and did they share the information?
I can't recall who found it.
Wasn't it you, Dirk?
Someone with a high investigation roll. I can't recall who that was.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I think it might have been Moonstalker. No, it was you, Zerk. Zerk, you knew. It was you.
I found the journal?
I think you had the highest investigation.
So then I'll say, what do you make of this? And I'll hold up the journal and open it to the missing page to answer Lady Merlin's question of what else do we have to talk about.
Sure. Yep.
And I'll bring up about the captain, the guard being in here and making me leave when he was searching the cabin.
Do we think he was suspicious, or is it just that he was taking evidence for his own investigation?
I think it's suspicious now that there are pages missing from this journal. If he needed something from the journal, why didn't he just take the whole journal?
The journal, yeah.
Was he the one that removed the page, though? Or was the page missing by the time he got here?
We don't know.
Don't know.
There wasn't any. Wait, would I ask that? I was like, would I ask? There wasn't any loose pages on the on Mr. Fleet, was there? And then I'm like, wait, would we have? I don't feel like we would have
We didn't
searched
check.
him.
We didn't.
No, he went on his
You
merry
just
way.
know that something happened. Okay.
But the captain of the guard did speak with the beggar. I pointed him out, and they had quiet words.
Right.
And you didn't
And he
hear
didn't.
anything?
No, I couldn't really hear what they were saying. But it was not Did not seem to be like a conversation of two people that did not know each other.
Did it seem like they were talking more than what we've been able to get out of the beggar?
In my mind, what I pictured is the captain of the guard said, "You fool! They know you were the beggar on the dock. You got caught." That's about what it translated to in my mind as I watched the conversation.
Okay. But did the beggar, like, seem to be saying a lot in return, or was he still quiet?
He spoke, but it wasn't a lot.
Okay.
And,
Well,
and, and for investigating a murder, that didn't seem like a conversation that would be taking place for questioning a possible suspect in a murder of somebody who was shady, if to say the least. He went from a incoherent, non-communicative beggar on the dock that didn't move to being on the ship, being part of the crew.
true. Well, a good way of finding out whether or not the beggar has this missing page would be to find some sort of excuse to search everyone on the crew. But I don't think that we're going to be able to find a reasonable excuse for doing that.
The last thing we want is this crew turned against us.
Exactly.
It's the beggar that's the spy.
Oh, when I was getting rumors, and this is Anna, I just want to make sure that I wrote it correctly. When I was talking with the people at the docks, they said that the men from Fleet are from Umber. Most of them, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, I will say that the people from the town, they talking with them, they said that Fleet usually had people from Umber working for him.
Gotcha.
So if there's one spy, well, there could be all of them. And
Well, when we get to the Grey Havens, we could possibly get new crew
Certainly.
at the Grey Havens and replace this crew.
Yes,
Which
we don't
for that would
need.
probably be a wise decision.
Yes. I'm sure there will be some skilled uh, sailors at the Grey Haven willing to assist us.
And even if not at the Grey Haven, then maybe in Linden or Fort Linden, we could find some people willing to help us.
Is it possible the beggar is from Gondor?
I think that was one of the things that I was trying to test, and um, now I can't remember because I tested like asking a bunch of different questions and speaking in different languages. Um, and I think I wasn't able to rule it out. So it was like either Gondor or one of the other nations that Numenorians settled in to the south. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's safe because we've already met a Gondorian who is certainly not a friend. So, do we want to try to search him to see if he has this paper? Because if he doesn't, then that means that the captain of the guard probably has it. And we will not be able to find out whatever that was because we're gone.
I have a feel we're not going to be able to find the papers regardless. And I think if he did take them, they're destroyed.
Question. So this was a like a date in the ledger that was missing, like a page that was like a day's notes or something like that. Like you can see what date range it was for.
Mhm.
Um,
Wasn't it the day we arrived?
It was the day you arrived, yeah.
okay. Hmm. Interesting. Well, then it probably has something related to us, or maybe what was going on with the black ship.
Well, the day we arrived is also the day the boy was slain.
Exactly. That's why I was saying it might be related to the whatever plans the black ship had.
The captain of the guard, the captain of Master of Coin, selling out their own city to be sacked,
True.
and we disrupted their plans.
But unfortunately, we can't help them out much more because, you know, we have to leave them to their fate at this point. So, plans.
Question: Are there windows here that look in the like? Can we see the deck from here?
No, there's just a door. The windows kind of face out to the sea,
Mhm.
and it's at the back of the boat. So when you're looking out the window, you can kind of see Londair, West Haven, kind of receding into the distance in the dark.
Do you want me to send Fando out to keep an eye on things?
Maybe talk with your beggar, see what we decide, and then maybe send a note back to the queen by Fayandel to give her any warning for any information we recover.
Okay. Yeah, how far from shore are we right now?
Maybe a mile or so,
Okay.
just down away. So not that far.
Okay, not that far. Because I was like, Fando probably can't fly vast distances over the water. Just gonna warn you. He is not a seabird, therefore he's not used to having to fly and not be able to land somewhere. um,
Well,
sure.
I'm sure I'm sure we're staying within sight of the shoreline anyway. Correct?
For a little while, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Okay. Who
Well,
would
go
like
ahead and have
to?
your conversation with him. Zurich, do you want to accompany her? His muscle?
I don't think anyone could stop me.
Does anyone
And
else want
sorry.
to join us that might have questions that they want to ask?
Turk kind of looks at you all and says, "Okay, you want to search this guy? Why don't you just come out and say, 'Come on, Hobbit, go through his pockets,
I
like
did
there's some kind of
ask.
thief or something.'"
I did ask whether or not we wanted to just attempt to search him alone, and everyone seemed to feel like it was unnecessary, that we probably won't be able to find the paper, and I'm fine with that. I'm
Oh,
not going to put you in jeopardy just because I'm curious.
We might find
Well,
other stuff.
you may
it's
find
not that
others. Yeah.
it's not necessary. It's just how are you going to search him? I mean, we could do grab him, throw him to the deck, and spread eagle. I mean,
Well,
how do you plan on searching him?
we're on a ship that rocks. It's very easy for one to bump their head if they're not paying attention.
If you want to attempt to search his pockets while we talk to him or something, but
No, it's probably best to wait for the right moment.
true. I I'm concerned, as one of us already said, I'm concerned about doing something that will cause the crew to become aggressive towards us. And if they consider him one of their own, we should leave him be.
Zurich grumbles. I can't believe I'm saying this, but might it serve us if we try to win his trust first?
I'm more than happy to try to win his trust. I have I don't feel that he is someone who can't be trusted, but I defer to the rest of you.
Naive elves.
But yes, anyone else want to go and speak with him other than myself and Zurich?
I'll do none of that speaking, but I'll go with you.
Certainly. Well, if you think of any questions, just tell me and I will ask them.
Very
I
good.
think, I think I'll just leave my cousin with her bucket. She looks like she needs to make friends. I'll go mix with the other crew just to see if I can hear any scuttlebutt, as
Sure.
people say.
See what their opinion of us is and whether or not we really are going to be having problems with them or not.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
So you break from your huddle and emerge from the captain's quarters
Yep.
onto the deck of the ship. You can see the crew busy working the sails and navigating through the narrowest part of this estuary to make yourself ensure that you don't hit a sandbar or something like that as you make your way out into the bay. You can see amongst the crew the beggar.
Okay.
Does the beggar have any like physical impairments in any way? Or
Nope.
does he look like an able-bodied
Yep.
individual? Okay.
Very much so.
Yeah, he's like old but like super muscles. All right. Then I will. What tasks is he like? What does it seem like is his job on the ship?
He seems to be securing the lines,
Okay.
like making sure there's nothing like on deck that someone can trip over when the sails are brought up and all that stuff. So,
Gotcha.
So, in other words, it doesn't quite look like the picture that we're looking at right now, with the loose ropes and the barrels rolling around.
no, there's no barrels rolling around.
Okay,
No.
okay.
All right, then I will head over to him and attempting to stay out of his way so that I'm not disrupting his ability to complete his work. I'll just kind of like take a glance over at Zurich, suddenly realizing I don't know how to begin this conversation.
Well, the thing is, as you approach him, he kind of glances up. He sees you approaching, stops what he's doing, and moves further away from you, further up there.
What is his like expression when
Go ahead and make
he
an
sees
insight
us?
check.
Okay.
Can Zarek do that too since he's there?
You sure can. Yep.
Oh, that's not great.
Well, it just seems like he's finished winding the rope on this, I forgot, stay or whatever it's called, and he's moving up to check another
Gotcha.
line.
So it doesn't actually, with our insight, it doesn't actually look like he's avoiding us. It just happens to be that he was moving on to another task.
Yep.
Okay, then I will pursue. I will follow to his next task, and I'll actually call out to him. And I don't know his name, so I'll just call out and just say, "Excuse me, do you remember that we spoke earlier?"
He doesn't turn to face you, but he continues further towards the front deck of the ship.
All right, I'll follow.
All right. You eventually pretty much corner him. He's run out of ship to walk away. um, and as you kind of like he's busy doing some busy work, and you kind of walk up behind him. He turns around and he sees you're right there. He kind of lowers his head right away, tries to walk past you. He's like, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am."
I actually wanted to speak with you, if you have a moment.
I'm busy, ma'am. And he just tries to continue on.
I will walk alongside him and say, "That's fine. Walk and talk is fine with me." And I will just continue walking with him.
And Zurich, you're just kind of trailing too?
Yeah, I would think I'm pretty uncomfortable on the ship, so I'll probably, kind of
Sure.
bumble my way along, but sort of maybe on a step behind Icaliel.
Gotcha.
Go ahead and make either perception or actually perception, both of you.
Okay. I was about ready to ask him to like keep his eye out. Perception.
Yeah, I've got a close eye on them from a step behind.
Right. Jeez, the third nat
What
20.
the heck? Holy cow.
So you guys can see you're getting strange kind of quizzical looks from the other crew as you're kind of chasing this one crew member around the boat.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are interfering, but they're just kind of looking at you like, what the hell are you guys up to?
Yeah.
So finally, the beggar kind of stops and says, "What can I do for you, ma'am?"
Well, first off, what can I call you? Because I don't believe that we've been introduced.
You can just call me Marlowe, ma'am. That's what everyone else calls me.
Marlowe. Well, in case I didn't introduce myself, which I believe I did, I am Eucaliel.
He kind of does an over-exaggerated flourish. Pleasure to meet you. And just,
Now, in this brief conversation that we're having, does his demeanor seem like drastically different from what it was when I tried to talk with him on the docks?
I'd make an insight check.
Okay. Do I want to push something into it? No, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay. If it's a success, it's a magical success.
It doesn't seem like the same person at all. Like the person you were speaking to on shore was barely responsive.
Exactly. It feels very different. I'm just like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
But he's looking at you and says, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. Never met you before.
We had a brief conversation on the docks a few days ago, I believe.
Sorry, ma'am. Must have gotten mistaken with someone else.
Hmm. um Shoot, what was the things that I checked with him before to try and check them again? I feel like he's so on edge that if I try checking like his ability to recognize languages, he's just gonna pretend like he doesn't know. Um, Maybe just perception wise, can I like see if I notice like looking at him, does he look like he's the same person that I spoke with before?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception.
Okay. Perception.
All right. I'll say the appearance of the beggar when you first met him on the dockside was rather haggard
Mhm.
and sallow. His complexion. The person you're speaking to now, although there's a remarkable resemblance, uh, looks healthier.
Yeah. And that's not
Um,
something that can change so quickly, usually.
um, yeah, that's all I'll say.
Okay.
Um, but just excuse me, ma'am. I've got to make sure this ship doesn't, run aground or something. Like I've got work to do.
Of course. We might talk later, and I'll let him go because I wanna talk with everybody else about what I've kind of discovered.
Yeah, he just kind
Um,
of nods at you and moves on. Uh, Turk, can I get you to make a perception check as you're kind of trying to wander the deck and trying to catch any kind of conversation or something?
Yes, I'm actually going to try to make myself useful as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I'll approach the. Here's a good question: who has Agra decided to make his
Bosun.
first officer? Is he keeping the same
Yeah, the
first
same.
mate
Yeah,
in
he
both?
doesn't have a first mate, but he does have a bosun who's going to is ordering the crew around on
Okay,
the.
so I'll approach the bosun and say, um, I may not look it, but I'm familiar with watercraft. I'm really excited to be on a sea-going ship for my first time. I would like to prove myself, if I may, and um, do myself a hobbit, welcome and show respect to the bosun because he's really running the ship, if you know what I mean, and um, uh,
So
ask him what his name is.
okay, so the
Introduce
bosun,
myself.
he looks like an elderly, more not necessarily elderly, but middle-aged elderly gentleman. Kind of wiry frame, kind of long, braided beard. Uh, actually, yeah, kind of like shallow lines. Um, um, that kind of look, and as he smiles, when you introduce yourself, he kind of looks you up and down, um, and gives you a big like grin, toothy grin, like missing teeth, as he smiles at you and says, "So you figure yourself a sailor, do you? Haven't seen one of such diminished stature, shall I say? Are you sure you can reach the lines and the sails? Excuse me. I don't need no. I don't call them my crew.
No, I would not expect so. Maybe it might be some of the short sails, you might say then,
Yes, short sails.
and kind of wink.
Well, it says, how about this? He kind of looks across the deck towards uh, near the aft uh, of the deck. You can see kind of leaning against there a mop and a bucket. Just how about you start with that?
I suppose we might have to start someplace, but one would think getting the ship underway and through these narrow passages that you may need a hand up in the up aloft.
Now you're not my crew.
I'll prove myself.
I'll prove yourself with the mop first, and then we'll see where you go from there.
Wax on, wax off.
And you can just call me Bosun.
Aye, bosun. So with that, I've got a job that I've been assigned to the bosun, and I'll be moving the mop around the deck and able to hopefully um, casually listen in on conversations and try to gather information as much as
Sure.
possible. Which I know a lot of it is just going to be normal chat, but still.
Go ahead and make that perception check. 16. All right. So you're mopping away with your little mop and bucket, kind of sidling up to some of the other sailors. The most common theme amongst them is, why the hell are we been woken up in the middle of the night? Where the hell are we going? Where's our captain? Why is a fisherman taking us out to sea? And who the hell are these people? There's a lot of confusion and questions amongst the crew.
Those are all good questions.
Yes, we're going. Let's wait until we get far enough away to have a and under safe on safe water before we actually have some kind of we're going to have to say something to them all. Yes, whatever that may be. So.
All right.
So maybe I'll probably have to mop around my cousin quite a bit, I would think, maybe.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys would like to do that night? It is quite late. You guys had a big day. Some of you had quite a traumatic day. You're probably quite fatigued.
I'm not going to ask for any kind of a retcon here or anything, but Lady Ukalil was present. I imagine. At what point did the Queen come out of her meet with us when I was delivered from the river, shall we say, by the beast?
Trying to recall. Now, the Queen wasn't by the river when that happened, right? She was back in the Queen's Hall. So
That's right.
I would say Eucalios was up there too.
So, I mean, Turk being taken by a river beast and delivered, quote unquote, but still, how would the Queen have reacted to that? Then a very similar experience without a dead beast.
That you would not have had a chance to ascertain.
Bottom.
Sorry?
The bottom one. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was
No worries.
talking to my wife. Apologize.
Okay. No worries. You would not have had a chance to talk to her about that. The main concern was whether or not you were okay from the Queen's perspective, and secondly, rumors spreading of a second serpent rising, meaning that the threat was not gone, meaning that the Queen did not finish her job or did not do as she promised.
Oh, I certainly remember that part. Yes.
Yeah.
So, mentioning what we might want to do, I will approach the lady and say, point out my bite marks and say, could use some healing if you've got a little bit of time.
Oh, certainly. I can assist you with that. Question, however, mechanics wise, how much healing do you actually need? Because that determines what type of thing I try to help you with. That's why I'm asking. Oh, you're muted.
I am. I'm down 12.
You're down to 12. Okay. Then let's see. And do you have any hit die left over from previous rests? 'Cause I can't remember if we get long rests at the.
Yeah, you got a long rest back at the
Okay.
Queen's Hall.
Okay.
But not this evening, right? Because I'm literally out of the water. The excrement hit the fan. We're on the boat.
Sure. But
Or-
you would still have hit die from today because the previous
Yes.
evening.
Yep.
Yeah.
You okay.
Uh,
So
or
my
wait for a long rest.
suggestion is that Eucaliel is going to use her God, what is it called? Let me look. It's her Hands of the Healer during our short rest tonight and to boost your healing when you heal with your hit die. So it'll be her healing you, but that's when we'll do it because I have very limited healing. So I want to be very careful what and when I use it.
Oh, right, and rightfully so. I'm just concerned, of course, that something may go down with the crew, and I'll
Sure.
report, and I'll be showing the wound marks and everything, and
Mhm.
meanwhile, sort of casually saying the crew is really upset.
And have we checked to make sure that like there's no like poison or venom or anything in this bite at all?
I haven't lost. I mean, have a look.
Okay.
You know
Yes,
more than
I
I
would like to check that just to be sure.
Yeah. So you could tell the bite itself. There was venom involved, but because Turk made a saving throw,
Gotcha.
it didn't take hold.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, if I remember correctly, I gave thanks for my father's constitution.
Yep. Okay. Then yes, um I will assure Turk that I will assist in healing when we have all settled down to rest. I will let everyone know if we're like grouping back up together in the captain's cabin or whatever. Um, I will let everyone know that it is my suspicion that the beggar is not the person that we spoke to on the dock, or if he is, there is something going on that makes it so that in whatever state he was when he was on the docks, he has no recollection of that. But I'll also say, like, even his physical health looks different than it did
Well, what
just
makes
a
us
day
think that
ago.
he's the same? Is his facial appearance that makes us think it's the same person? The way he's dressed?
I
For when Moonstalker first kind of clocked him, it was the same physical appearance and overall, but it was the hands in particular that
okay.
kind of convinced him that it was the same person.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him as well. Just because I'll be doing, odd jobs about the ship, so
Yeah.
I'll just keep an eye on him, and at some point, maybe he'll reveal himself. So,
Sure. But
um,
yeah, I will tell everybody, like, I'll share the conversation that we had and just be like, eh, in his current state, he doesn't claim to remember our conversations before, and he seems much more alert and communicative, and I trust him less. The more communicating he is, the less I trust him, which is strange, but that's how it is.
I have a question for you guys. What are your sleeping arrangements? There's only one bed in the captain's quarters.
I don't think I'm going to jump right in and say I don't think that we should be taking over the captain's quarters. I don't think that's an optic that we want to portray.
Yeah, I don't
I,
think
I
so
think
either.
I think
Good comment. I agree.
Leal going in is a different situation. She's probably perceived as more, for lack of a better word, more royalty in some way. The rest of us, I'll let you guys decide that. But I'm just going to be sleeping, probably rolled up on the deck someplace.
Well, I mean, there might be space down below where everyone else sleeps when they're sleeping. Um, and I can be lookout while sleeping because that is a thing that I can do. So like if we pick a corner of the lower decks because you don't want to be loose on the deck in case something like a storm hits or we hit turbulent waters and then yeah. You want to be inside the ship. So,
All right. So you guys are all going to go below decks to rest there.
Zurich will be wherever Kaliel is.
yeah. My vote is I think that we should pick a corner below decks and settle there.
All right.
Maybe we ask Edgar where he thinks the best place for us to sleep would be. Start to use him as a little bit of a liaison between us and
the
crew.
fisherman guy.
Yeah, he might have more cred with the crew than us.
All right.
While they were doing all that and talking, I've been actually searching the cabin, top to bottom, looking for hidden places, looking for where he's hidden money. I know he's got money on this ship.
All right. So you guys already rolled those investigations checks at the end of last session.
Mm-hmm.
There
I
are
move
some
furniture
things.
and stuff, things like that,
Sorry?
I move furniture and things like that, looking for hidden panels under the carpet, under the bed, and behind the cabinets.
Okay. I will tell you, if your intention is to steal, that will cost you shadow point.
Just looking for whatever's he's got hidden on the ship.
Okay.
I know he's got to have something hidden, so.
All right, so you have made that search just based on the investigation rolls from last week. There are a few knickknacks and sit here and think, but there's no secret compartments in the captain's quarters. There's no chest full of gold or anything like that. It's just nice stuff, but nothing incriminating or nothing like substantial.
Okay.
All right. Weapons locker in here?
Nope.
I was gonna say Goldie would have, if she can see through the porthole that looks back at Londair, the town. She'd have been looking at the town and subconsciously looking and see if someone's following them, but mostly just staring out at the water, trying not to get sick.
With disadvantage, please.
Perception check.
All right. 13, you don't see anyone following you, but it is dark. But Nimwe's Grace is a fast ship, comparatively speaking, especially to the fishing boats in town. So even if there was someone following you, they likely would not have been able to catch you. But there's no sign. And you can see the lights of small communities and shacks along the coast of West Haven disappearing into the night. All right. So just to confirm then, you're all going to sleep below deck. You ask Egler. Who's asking Egler about?
Who has the best rapport with him? I think I tried to talk to him and he didn't like me, so.
He did rescue me, so if I have a slight in, that may be possible.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Master Agra, as passengers on this ship, where should our party be berthing?
He looks down at you and says, I don't give a bird's where you put your ass. Just get out of my way. I'm trying to sail a ship without sinking us.
Oh, that's not very inspirational, Agra.
It's in the dead of night, and this estuary is full of sandbars now. If you're not going to be helpful, get out of the way.
I hope you notice that I have been helpful. I've talked to the bosun, and he's given me assignments, and I've been doing my best. So it's just a quick question, sir.
He looks at you, he kind of spits on the ground and says, you're the little one I fished out of the river.
You would think you would remember that.
He looks at you and says, still spits again and says, I don't care. Go below decks, find yourself a cot. Stay out of my way.
I shall pass that advice on to your visitors on the ship. Your patrons, in fact.
He doesn't. He just gives you a sullen grunt and just continues steering the ship.
Okay,
All right.
so I go back and I say, let's find a hammock down under the deck.
Preferably in a corner, if we can find a corner.
Well, when you go below decks, it would seem that all of the best cots in the places have been spoken for, and these are ones that are typically near the stairs because you get a bit of a draft and whatnot. You guys have been sent to the far back of the ship. You guys have to pass all the other cots and whatnot to get there. Careful not to trip over like buckets or whatever, tables, chairs, whatever's kind of strewn about below deck to the back. And you notice that the smell back here is pretty ripe. You can tell some of the crew use the buckets back here as a makeshift latrine when the weather's too bad for them to go above deck to relieve themselves.
That's fine. Well, honestly, this is my preferred area because that way we can put our backs against something and nobody can sneak up behind us.
Just
So
just don't be concerned about occasional visitors then to the buckets.
I will seeing that, because I'm sure that there is like some amount of liquid on the floor, I will settle myself like sitting on a box or barrel or something, leaning up against a box or barrel, so that I'm not on the floor because I don't really need to lay down to sleep. So I will sit there facing away from the corner so I can like see the rest of the below decks, and I will get myself settled in for, Overwatch trancing so that I can keep an eye on things. I will leave it up to Fandil whether or not, like, as we are heading down below decks, I will leave it up to him whether or not he wants to roost somewhere up on the deck or whether he wants to come below decks with us.
Oh no, he's not going below deck. He's going to stay up on mast for sure.
Yeah, and I'll just let him know, like, feel free to sleep up there, but if something happens that startles you awake or whatever, please, like, make a sound or try your best to, like, give me some sort of warning. I'm not going to ask him to fly below decks and get me, but, like, to alert me.
I think the natural place would be the crow's nest.
Sure.
All right. So you guys can take your short rest now. Go ahead and do your special hit dice thing.
Yes. So everybody gets, for every hit dice that you roll, you get an additional D6 of healing.
So roll
And
in my instance, roll a d8 and a d6.
Yep.
yes. And then if you need to use another one, you'll get another d6. And that's for anybody who needs to use hit die. You can still use more if
Got
you
5
need
hit points
more.
back from that.
There you go.
All right, you're fully healed after 2 hit dice. Okay. I will need all of you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Sure. What am I? Not my best skills.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Ah,
How is
Four,
Zurich
number 4.
not
Zurich is
getting his
not doing
con?
good.
And me, who has no con at all, I rolled a nat 20.
All
Oh, it
right.
looks like some people weren't doing con saves.
Oh,
You
Turk,
might
yeah,
have
you need to make a con save, not a
Where
Constitution
did I do
ability.
that from?
when you hit con, you'll have two options, check and save.
Oh, thank you.
And it looks like, yeah, Moonsucker and Turk.
Yeah, Turk, can you roll your con save?
I did something wrong. Okay. Oops.
Yeah, you did
You
a
did a
con
check.
check instead.
Oh, I got it.
All right. So, who do we have here?
That's too many nat 20s.
Goldie, Zurich, and Turk. You guys are not Turk. I mean, the DC for this was 10. Actually, since Turk, you have Watercraft, I'm going to give you advantage on this roll. Go ahead on your save. Go ahead and roll another con save.
If you notice, it's still +3 regardless, and I've rolled
Yeah.
12 already.
For his, it's the
Okay,
same.
it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'll give you that. So Zurich, Goldie, you guys are not used to being on a ship, let alone below decks on a ship. The constant rocking back and forth and motion of this boat, in addition to the rather rancid and powerful smell at the back of this of where you're staying at, you find your stomach not so settled that night, and you find yourself using some of these buckets to throw up into. You do not get a restful sleep. You'll wake up the next morning with 1 point of exhaustion.
I got a clean bucket from upstairs.
You got your own personal bucket.
You've made it your friend. You're hugging that bucket.
All right. I will need one of you, however, because this is an overseas journey, and Agra is in fact like the pathfinder here. I'll let one of you roll for him. So you kind of have to decide amongst yourself who will make that roll, or you guys can do rollies and see who will do it.
Does anybody want to roll for him?
What is it? What's the roll going to be?
It's just going to be a D20.
I'll do it. I don't care.
All right.
Whoever's had the most natural 20s tonight.
That would be me, probably, but I'm letting
Big
someone
let's
else do it.
run out sometime. All right, go ahead, Moonstalker. All right, with the 15. Okay. So, if you look on your handouts and look at the player journey map, when you wake up and make your way back onto the deck, Eucalio, by the way, nobody bothered you guys back down there while you guys
Okay,
were
good.
sleeping.
Yep.
You guys are basically, if you count 4 hexes along a shore going southwest, from Londair.
Uh-huh.
That's how far you managed to travel that night. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you're just at the mouth of the bay, about to round the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. At this rate, it's going to take you maybe just under 2 weeks to get to the Grey Havens.
And is that
Where they're holding.
about what we thought it was going to be?
Yeah, about
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you went overland, it would be twice as long.
Sure.
And the most we were able to move on land with a good roll was 3.
Yeah, if you're super lucky, super
Yeah.
lucky.
And so the basic boat is 4, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next morning, you guys come up onto deck. You can tell the crew are tired. They sailed most of the night to make some distance, clear the estuary. So they're kind of taking a break now. The bosun said, take a break. Some of them have gone below decks to sleep. And you would have passed them as you made your way onto deck. And you can see there's a skeleton crew now, just kind of manning the sails to continue to catch the wind and keep you going.
Gotcha.
Again, Turk will try to ingratiate. Well, not. I don't want to use the word ingratiate, but he's going to try to fit in. Okay, so he'll be toting that barge and hoisting that bale as much as his little stature can handle.
All right. And the bosun has also kind of taken a few hours sleep. Egra is still up there. Like he's just like the old man. See, he's just like like a statue up on deck. I just kind of got this permanent sneer on his face as he's trying to navigate this boat.
Gotcha.
So, is
Ooh.
there anything you guys want to do on this day? Oh, Fandale, by the way, has returned.
Okay. Cool. I'll feed him because I feel like he's gonna have a hard time finding food around here. And I don't want him getting caught like messing around with their food stores and have the sailors riot because he's. So I will just warn him that if he's hungry, just come to me. I will give him food.
As you guys come up onto deck, though, Agra, who's still up at the wheel, sees you, Moonstalker, and just kind of points at you and says, and
I walk up to him
and motions you to come up there.
I come up.
Yes, smart move. Listen to me. Made good time last night.
Good.
But you might want to have a word with the crew. They're getting restless.
What would you suggest that I say to calm their fears?
I don't know. I don't have a silver tongue. But tell them as it is. That you are their new employer. And we set sail for the Grey Havens. That's all they need to know.
All right. Well, I'll take your advice.
And there's a matter of pay as well.
I was just going to say, be liberal with the silver.
Yeah.
When do they normally get paid?
I understand Fleet had them on a monthly stipend. So they might be good till the end of this month, but just let me double check the calendar here. Yes, the end of the month is coming up. They'll be wanting their pay.
I'm technically not there, but I do have a question. Not necessarily to him, but like in our searches of the captain's quarters, like there should be a record of like what their pay was.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely a very accurate accounting.
Sure. If we have enough money, maybe we give them a little bit more pay than what they were normally getting, just to kind of ease this transition.
I'm gonna doubt we have enough to cover it.
Yeah.
How many sailors are there? We should know that number quite easily, unless there's somebody hiding.
Nope, there are 14 crew, including the bosun.
Hmm.
And their pay is 2 silver a month, 3 silver for the bosun each.
Yeah, I think we can manage that because we just got a bunch of money that we split amongst ourselves, right? I currently have 30 silver. But I feel like others have close to that.
I bribed some of them when we were trying to get everything ready and they were not moving, so some of them got
True,
that
but they're
job.
still going to expect pay.
No,
Like
no,
we're
no,
gonna have to
I'm
pay
just
them
saying
again.
that some of them got already bribed.
Gotcha.
Well,
Gotcha.
well, that should be what 30 silver then for the month, correct? 13 times 2, 1 times 4. It's 30 silver. So
Yeah.
I've got 15, but that's all I have.
I can chip in as well if we want to double it, because we're going to. I think for most of them, well, this is kind of a captain's thing. He would be the one to be confident to go in uncharted waters as far as the crew is concerned. The crew should just be able to handle the ship and not worry about where we're going.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking double. I was thinking like add a silver to whatever their normal pay was.
And they're getting paid a silver, so that is double it if we give them another
So
silver.
it was 2 silver. So it's two
Yes.
silver a month, 3 silver for the bosun. So the crew gets 3 silver, so that's not a double, and then the bosun would get 4. So it's just
And
an
then
incremental increase.
how many are on the crew? Did I miss that?
14. So
14
that's
total.
43 silver to do what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys don't think that's a good idea, then I'm fine with just doing
We
the
can
2
do it.
silver.
I mean, like I said, I have a total of 15 silver, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll chip in 10. Is that enough if we're doing it as a group, or 15?
So
Well, Acre says, I recommend you don't pay them until we arrive at our destination.
sure, we just
They'll be
need to make
expecting it
sure
when
that
we arrive.
Yeah. Mhm.
Got you.
And one of you will need to be captain, unless
Hmm. Well, which one of us should be captain?
Have to be a strong character, good presence.
I guess it's going to have to be me since I'm the only one comfortable on the sea besides maybe you, Caliel.
Yeah, I was.
I'm probably the most comfortable, but
Yeah,
I'm not making a.
you're
I'm not
not
making a
captain.
captain. I'm not
Yeah,
pushing for that. No.
yeah. I was gonna suggest either Moonstalker or Zurich because you both have the attitude of like, do what I say.
I'll break
Eucaliel
that out.
doesn't have that kind of presence.
I'll break that out when I need to, but I don't think I know much about sailing.
Sure.
I don't know
Then
much about sailing, but it's in my blood.
sure.
So I can feel the
I'm
sea
okay with
calling
us
me.
nominating Moonstalker as our captain.
All right.
I second that. R.
I'm assuming there's some kind of a bell on the deck.
Yep.
All right. Turk, go ring the bell.
Aye, Captain.
Should we just let them sleep?
No.
Maybe?
They
No.
can go right back to sleep after the announcement.
Actually,
Because there's
yeah,
always going to be somebody sleeping.
we should but we should do it at the shift of the watch.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Well, this is morning, so this would be shift of the watch.
Yeah.
So
So you can, to get to the bell, Turk, you're going to have to put a little crate underneath it to reach it.
Sure, thanks, GM.
All right. So you ring the bell, clang, 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 and you see emerging from below decks some weary-eyed looking sailors. They look a little annoyed. Kind of grumbling amongst themselves, but they're there.
Attention, crew. I will be your new captain. And we are heading to the Grey Havens. And we will make sure you get your pay when we reach our destination.
You hear one of the sailors pipe up. What happened to Captain Fleet?
Captain Fleet was murdered by some unknown entity in town.
When you say that, there's a lot of whispers and grumblings amongst the crew as they talk to each other. Then we hear another crew member saying, "We're still getting paid, right?"
Yes, we will pay you when we reach our destination.
And you hear another sailor say, "He owes us 2 months' pay."
Well, we will have to see about that. But all I can do, we guarantee you, is what you will be doing with us from this point forward. If we can find the means to do so, we will make up for his past debt as well.
The bosun steps forward when you say this, and he's looking, kind of steps up right in your face, Moonstalker.
When he does, I'll stand at my full height.
All right, so he's looking up at you now. You're probably standing a good 6 inches above this guy. So he's looking up at you and says, "Keep your word on that, Captain. 3 months pay when we arrive."
Do we have
I don't
Sorry.
know. I personally do not have the coin to guarantee you 3 months' pay. What I will do, though, you have my word, is I will pay you this month's pay, and if I can acquire the coin, I will pay you the other 2 months' pay, and I will do my best to acquire the coin. You have my word as a Dunedain.
You hear grumblings amongst the sailors. Some of them unconvinced. Others saying, "Maybe we should give him a try." But they're still unsure.
We've looked at the accounts, the ship's
Yeah.
accounts. Were they not paid?
It looks like Mr. Fleet cooked the books.
Shocker.
Of course.
Did Mr. Fleet have any valuable cargo on the ship anywhere?
You know what? If he did sell some of the nicer things in his quarters, it could probably account for easily like a month's pay.
Well, I mean, I'm asking like the crew though. I'm actually asking them. I said, "Is there any valuable cargo in the hold?"
In the hold? No, we had just finished a run. There's nothing there but enough food for us to get by on for 2 weeks.
Well, hell, we could sell the whole ship. It's ours now. We don't need it.
Actually,
it's not. It's the Queen ship. I'm not saying this out loud.
Who's going to be sailing it back?
Well,
Negra.
Goldie had a good suggestion, because the thing is, we're going to the Grey Havens, and then we're staying there for a while, and then we're going to sail out again. These people, they may not want to sit around in the Grey Havens a while. They may have to, because they won't be able to sail back. But we could just give the ship back to them, let them go back if they want to, and then just get a new ship in it, because we were planning on getting a new crew anyways.
Well, yeah, but the ship was not Fleet's ship per se. It's the Queen ship.
That's true.
We can't just give them the Queen ship.
True.
We could let them return and release them possibly.
Yeah, but then
from
how
our
are they going to
service,
get
but
back? Is the
Egre.
thing. If we
Egre's
replace the crew,
he can't. No, Egre's got to go with us.
Yeah.
Ager's taking us up to the island.
Yes. And if we replace the crew and keep the ship, then they're stranded in the Grey Havens, far, far away from home.
The sea is the sailor's home.
True, but they have no ship.
You know the old saying. You deal with the problems of the day, and that's not one of them.
Fair.
I,
We'll worry
I
about that
was
problem when we get to it. We got weeks to think about this, right? I mean, it's going to take
Yep.
us 2 weeks to get to the Grey Havens. So
Yep. So Turk's going to spend some time down in the hold and sneaking around and being a little gutter rat and seeing if there's anything hidden down there that may be of worth. And
I'm going to need you to make a stealth check. See if you can do
stealth.
this
And
without.
well, before we move on from this, and for everyone to know, Edgar is the first mate. If he tells you to do something, it's as if it came from me.
As you say that, like Egaric has kind of has this almost like sinister smile kind of across his face. He looks at the crew.
That I'll go down to the captain's quarters. Hey, you guys want to move in?
Zurg does. I could use a good night's rest.
Yep. All right. With that stealth check, you're sneaking around in below decks. It is not very well lit here. There are no portholes because the water's just going to come in at this level. But it is lit by like lanterns, and the smoke from the lanterns kind of gets trapped down here sometimes and can get a little stuffy. But you manage to stay in the shadows and poke around a little bit. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for? You just want to just find something possibly of value, or
Hidden things that are not meant to be not out in the open, things that may be sort of in darker corners or under hidden floorboards.
okay. You get to the cot where Marlowe, the beggar, lies asleep. You start rummaging around in his belongings, his stuff there. You see what looks to be like a bedroll kind of tucked up underneath a wooden crate, kind of. And you just kind of peek inside there, and you can clearly see what looks to be a very nice sword. A sword that a sailor typically would not have. You would expect it to be. I mean, this sword is nicer than anything that the knights were wielding back in Westhaven.
I witnessed our former ranger compatriot wield quite a fancy special weapon. Does it rank amongst that? Is this a long sword? Is it a broadsword? Is it a cutlass? Is it
It's a long sword.
long sword?
Again, not a sword that you would typically find on board a ship, either because just the size and length of it. Typically, people on board ships would wield scimitars or shorter blades because of confined quarters and whatnot. But
Yes, yes. Ruins. Are there ruins on it? I'll try to look at it and try to keep them. If there are any kind of special symbols, I'll try to keep them in my memory so that I can write them down later.
yeah, go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. The markings on the sword, the design of the hilt is looks very fancy and intricate, very nice. Obviously, this is a well-forged weapon, but it's not familiar to you. It is not of elvish design, and it is not. It is unlike any sword or weapon that you've seen before.
Again, I'll keep the design in my memory and hustle back up and ask for paper and ink from Ukulele and draw it out in private, in a private area,
Sure.
and show it to Torgon.
Torgon, can you make an old lore check for me, please?
Stepped outside to smoke for a minute. Sorry. Could you do it if you don't mind?
Oh, okay. You want me to do it for you?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Bad habit, but when it calls, it calls.
Yeah. All right. It looks familiar to you, Moonstalker, but at the same time, unfamiliar.
Doesn't look Gondorian to me, does it?
Does not look Gondorian. Does not look Dunedain.
He's definitely from Umbar. Well, I don't necessarily Umbar, but he's from the South Kingdom. And I will say as much. I have no doubt that this belongs to someone from the South Kingdom. Where did you find it?
Okay.
Turk?
I'm here. Amongst the beggars' sleeping area. I'm going to call him the beggar because
Yeah.
that's
Moonstalker, I'm also going to make a persuasion check for you, unless you can do
Okay.
it yourself now.
No, I'm still outside. Sorry.
Okay. And this is just to see how persuasive you were with the crew.
Okay.
you really shouldn't have the GM role in this.
Well, I'm outside. I can't.
No. I mean, you should have tell one of us to.
I'm trying to use my Jedi mind powers right now, but it's not making the dice roll, unfortunately.
Okay. So unfortunately, as the crew disperses after you address them, you can tell you have not won them over yet. But they'll continue to do their job. There's no imminent mutiny just yet. All right. So, who wants to roll for the next day's progress on your journey?
And that's the one where we just roll a d20?
Yep.
Okay. Do you guys want me to do it this time?
Yes,
Sure,
certainly.
of
I think we can all take turns.
Yeah.
I wanted to say this because I even mentioned it to Lady Merlin earlier through Discord. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Don't make me roll things.
We hit a storm. But one of the writing quills that Turk happened to acquire in Orthanc. I
Yeah.
give one of them to Lady Ukulele. So
Eucalio.
hey, that's my Hobbit accent. Okay?
Sure.
Don't judge me.
All right. I'm going to have somebody else roll perception. Not your own perception, but just a d20, because none of you explicitly said you're on lookout, except for maybe Fiendel.
Yeah.
Fiendel didn't really talk about anything, but so I'm going to have this will be a crew member looking out. So who wants to roll that? I saw you raise your hand there, Anna.
Go ahead, Anna.
What I was gonna say is that Goldie's probably still like, if she's above deck holding the bucket, but like looking at the back, and in her mind, she's also looking for the black ships because now we're out at sea, and we did look at the estuary when we were there.
Go ahead and roll. You raised your hand.
You're due for a roll. You got this.
You got it.
D20. Just a d20.
No pressure.
20.
Roll high. Oh yes,
That's 20.
Anna. Goldie.
He rolled
Alright.
enough bad last time.
All right. So actually, I'm going to advance things a little bit and say, where are the handouts here? On the map, going back to your journey map. So you've made some distance here. Come on. There we go. And if I look at this map, I'm going to count out some X's here. 3, 1.
So there's another. We're rounding the head of land, and obviously going to make it past that. Are we going to make it up to the next one?
Yeah. So you are. I wish I could ping this map, but you see where that little weird symbol that looks like an X with another vertical line is? If you follow that straight up and move to the right 1 hex, so you're next to the shore,
Gotcha.
you've traveled 3 days.
The ones with the trees. The last one with
Yep.
the big bunch of trees
Yep.
in it.
Yep. That is where you are.
All right.
And as you break for open sea here, you've been following the coast all this time. You're just gonna instead of going into the bay, you're gonna cut across the mouth of that bay to the next tip of that peninsula there, and you spot a pod of dolphins.
Yes. I was actually going to ask for this earlier.
And the dolphins playfully jump and leap all around your ship. It kind of lifts all the crew members' spirits a little bit. You catch a good wind, and you all gain inspiration.
Nice.
Ooh.
Can I?
Do I get to drop my exhaustion?
Yes, you get to drop your exhaustion.
All right.
Can I talk to the dolphin?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to say?
I would like to ask them if there are any like hazards nearby that we should be aware of. I'll tell them the direction that we're going and just say like, is there anything we should watch out for?
All of you guys just see Eucalia kind of leaning over the prow of the ship, making these weird chirpy noises.
Squeaking noises, yeah.
The dolphins. You see one of them just kind of poke up its head and just kind of chirp back at Eucalia, and it says, "Stay away from the next peninsula. The trees and forest there. There is an evil."
Nice. All right. I will pass that on so that we can let the navigator know to stay away from shore when we pass the next peninsula. And I will thank them for their time.
No. We'll sail past it. We cannot afford to waste any time.
I will turn to Moonstalker, our captain, and say, we need to stay away from that shoreline. Can you please convince our navigator?
Agra. Lady Eucaliel has a way with creatures of the world, and the dolphins are warning her to stay away from the peninsula. Avoid it at all costs, even if it delays us.
Bah, it'll cost us a day.
That's fine. We have to avoid it. It could cost us more than a day if we do not. It could cost us everything. Her warnings do not come lightly.
No. We must make haste. Go ahead and make an insight check for me, please, Moonstalker, if you're able to. Okay. I mean, Egler is a grumpy old man to start with. So it's not unusual that he's being difficult. But you catch something else in his voice. Almost, and as he says that you can't lose a day, there's almost like a, what's the word? Almost like a desperation or fear or something in his eyes that he's just like he's afraid of something else more than this forest. Kind of is the vibe you're getting.
I'll lean in close to him and make sure nobody else is within earshot. What is bothering you, Agra?
We cannot waste any more time. The sea is a dangerous place these days. And perhaps if we get to the Grey Havens in haste, there may yet be time before the winter comes to make it to Tol Morwen.
I'll meet you halfway on this. Stay as far away from the shore as you can. We cannot be close to the shore.
Can you make a persuasion check?
No.
You do have inspiration if you want to use it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll use my inspiration and reroll it, I guess.
Okay.
Don't know if it's going to help, but we'll try. I mean, I only get a +1 charisma, so.
And you can also have your fellowship points too. Are also
Nice.
Oh, that'll do. That'll
Much
do.
better.
He looks at you with a snarl. And says, "Aye, Captain," and he says that he spits a mouthful of. He just not the word captain is rolls off his tongue with a lot of pain.
Thank you, my friend.
All
And
right.
I'll pat him on the shoulder as I walk off.
All right. I need someone else to make another journey check.
I'll do it this time.
Okay.
Also for a little bit of RP color. Usually there's somebody. I would think that sailors, when they have time on their hands, are doing things. They're carving. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're repairing their own clothes.
Sea shanties, perhaps.
They could be doing sea shanties. Zurich, you can join in.
I don't know any sea shanties.
But is there any one of them in particular that is good at carving? I'm going to what's the right word? Ask them to carve me a pipe, and give them a silver piece ahead of time.
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me, and I'll just say 15 or higher. There's somebody on the ship, one of the crew members that has woodworking skills. Okay. Unfortunately, no one on this ship will be able to carve a pipe for you. But you're right. There are some people at nights when they're taking their rest. A few of them will gather around, start singing sea shanties, or one of them will pull out a very out of tune kind of lute or something, or recorder, and they'll start singing.
Actually, there is somebody that can carve you a pipe on the ship. You didn't ask the right person.
You?
Yes, I have woodworking tools in my pack.
I
Do you
would
got
like.
wood?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, there's the whole ship is made out of wood.
Yeah, no. No. Do you have any wood for me to carve a pipe out of?
Well, no, but there are ship stores where they'll have wood to repair things. So
That's not something
but
I'm going to pipe out of.
I was actually thinking of maybe asking one of the sailors if they any of them have any like whalebone or ivory, whale.
That I couldn't help you with. I'm just a woodworker.
But maybe when I get to the Grey Havens, that'll be a special place to get a pipe. So
unless there's like a piece of wood in the captain's cabin for some kind of knick-knack that I could carve into a pipe for him.
There's this beautiful looking desk in the middle of it.
a piece of fleet desk.
Just carve a section off of the desk and turn it into a pipe.
I'll cut a piece off about this long and about this wide off the corner of the desk. Start working on a pipe for Turk on the journey.
Well, thank you, Captain.
After
Um,
okay,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
which one of us?
No, I
Kelly.
said I would roll next.
Okay. Um.
Khalil, what did you want to say or do?
Oh, I was gonna say after listening to the songs that they normally are singing and playing like once or twice, the next time that this happens, I want to try to join them with my flute.
Okay. Can you make a performance check for me, please?
I'm gonna give myself some rhymes of lore before I do this because I'm not actually good at performance. However, I am proficient with the flute, so I guess.
Yeah, you can make a charisma check and add your proficiency bonus.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I'll do the performance check and then what is my proficiency bonus right now? I forget. Double checking.
I think it should be +2. I think you're only
Plus 2.
4
Yeah,
so.
okay. All right. I'm still going to give myself a rhymes of lore just in case. So performance, and this is going to be a +2, and then I can add a d6 to it if I need to. You know what? 22. I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right. There's a group of maybe about 3 or 4 of the sailors that kind of gather on deck. The sun is set, and you guys have just had your evening meal. And there's still some sailors working about the ship while these few sailors play their instruments and start singing their song. And their song, you notice, isn't one like that's lewd or rude or anything like that. It is a fishing song, um, a very traditional one, unique to West Haven. And you might have even heard it being sung and played in the tavern that you visited there.
Gotcha.
But it seems almost like their de facto almost anthem because it's like something that they hold very close and dear. And it basically tells a story of West Haven. And it's a song for Queen Nimue. So when you join with your flute, they look at you and they smile and they encourage you. And the fact that you rolled that high, they're kind of spurred on, inspired some more, and they continue on. They're happy to have you there, and you gather a small little crowd around you. And the sailors are starting to clap along, sing along. And I will say, you guys can all, if you don't, you can regain your point of inspiration, Moonstalker. As the crew become a little more lighthearted, a little bit more, maybe not, a little less suspicious
Gotcha.
and antagonistic towards you guys.
Well, that's good. We'll take it.
Nice.
And Moonstalker, can you please make a woodworking check? This will be dexterity plus your proficiency.
Where do we see our proficiency at?
Oh, would you just roll, make a dexterity check, and we'll add two to the roll.
Okay. Do a check. 2, 9.
All right. 9.
That's one ugly pipe.
I'll say you can keep trying, but I mean, your first attempt at making this pipe, the proportions aren't right or whatever. But you have a longer trip to continue working on it. All right, and you rolled a 13 for the journey. All right, and Zurich, you have yet to roll, so please make a d20 roll for me, please.
You got it.
Wow, you guys are rolling well.
Doing good. Was that a progress roll?
Nope. This is just to see what happens.
Okay.
So you guys, if I look back at the player journey map now, you guys have traveled another couple days, and you have rounded. Let me double check that and count this out. Okay. So if you look at the forest on that peninsula called Eriador, about midway along the left side of that coast, you're 1 hex off that. There's a pointy part around the middle, the one that juts out the furthest to the left. You're 1 hex off of that,
To the south. Oh, to the west.
west of that peninsula.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I will say, as you rounded around this peninsula, you kept quite a distance from it. So the coast was basically just on the horizon. You could see it. But there's a spyglass on board, and with it, you can kind of view the coastline. And the coast itself is sheer cliffs around this peninsula. And you can see on top, it's mainly coniferous forest, but it is dense and ancient. For those of you from the Shire, there are tales and fables of the old forest that lie on the eastern edge of the Shire. Many horrible stories and told to children to keep them in line about the old forest. This forest looks about 10 times worse.
10 times older, yes. Worse. Intimidating.
Intimidating, yes. All right. So, who wants to roll next?
I think it's Goldie's turn. Hannah.
All right.
Me.
Oh, yeah, you're here.
Yeah. Is it a 20?
D20, please. Yeah. All right. And I need someone else to roll a D20.
I'll go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, but I got cut off. During the journey, can I be looking and see how's I think the relation, and I don't know if someone has mentioned it, the relationship between the sailors and the maybe beggar?
Go ahead and make an insight check for me, Goldie.
In disadvantage because I'm exhausted. Is it the first one?
Oh, no, we lost our exhaustion. You might have been offline. We had a couple of days have passed our exhaustion.
Yeah, you guys are getting your sea legs under you.
I was just going to say.
All right, with a 16 insight, you notice that Marlowe works alone most of the time. He takes orders from the bosun, but you have heard some of the sailors asking, "Who is that guy?"
Okay.
So apparently he is a stranger to the rest of the crew.
Okay.
Talking about the beggar.
Yeah. We need to get rid of him.
He's pulling his weight, though. He's no trouble. He's doing his job.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Call the boats into the captain's cabin and speak with them.
All right.
And what do you know about this fellow that nobody seems to know? Do you know anything about him? Apparently he had a relationship with your previous captain.
He looks at Jesus. I don't know. I thought he was with you.
What would you normally do in this situation where you have a stowaway like this on board?
Put him in a barrel. Put the lid on it.
dwarves have experience with that, by the way. Um,
And sleeping with the fish.
There's stowaways. Well, stowaways aren't looked upon too kindly, but typically we'd set him ashore and let him be on his way. But he's a good crew member. He's been pulling his weight. He knows his sailing.
Maybe I should give him a chance to come clean and explain himself first. And then if he doesn't meet our satisfaction, then put him ashore.
He shrugs as well. That's the captain's prerogative.
All right. Could you escort him in, please? And do you have an arms locker aboard?
No, sir. This is a merchant vessel.
Well, I just meant for defensive purposes.
No, these are simple sailors. They don't fight.
All right. If you need to, take the dwarf with you. If you feel like you need some muscle.
He looks at you and thinks, says, "Do I need to?"
I don't know. I don't know anything about this man. He might not hurt.
I'll send him in. Excuse me, Captain. And he leaves. Yep. Zurich, where are you?
Probably mulling around somewhere topside.
All right. You catch the bosun's eye and he kind of waves you to follow him.
As they're doing that, I want to go to the door of the captain's cabin and call for Eucalio.
All right. I will arrive.
All right. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yep. So you see the bosun approach Marlowe and says, just taps him on his shoulder and says, "Captain wants a word." Marlowe hesitates for a second, looks up and sees Zurich kind of standing behind bosun. And aye. And he saunters back to the captain's quarters. He knocks.
Hector.
He walks in. So, just so I'm clear, it's Moonstalker, Eucalio inside waiting for him, and Zurich, you're following him in?
Yeah, if I walk in the room and see Eucalio there, I'm a little taken aback, so I will make sure to stay.
All right.
And I won't be more than an arm's length away from Marlowe.
Okay. Turk and Goldie, you would have seen this little commotion on deck too. Kind of a few of the sailors kind of turn around and kind of are curious to know what's going on.
I think they can handle themselves. I'll keep an eye on the crew as always and mop if I'm still mopping.
Okay. All right. So you guys, Marlowe enters and says, "Captain, you want to see me?"
Yes, have a seat, crewman. I'll stand up and walk around in front of the desk.
So he looks around, kind of looks at you, Eucalio, and Zurich says, "Is there something wrong, Captain?"
Have a seat. There's a chair right there. I'm assuming on the other side of the desk. I'll lean up against the desk. I'm going to kind of sit on the desk a little bit, just kind of leaning on it. So,
a chunk of that desk is missing now, so.
So, there are some questions we have for you. And I expect the truth. And no hem and hawing. No fabrication. Get to the point and answer the questions. Who are you?
My name's Marlowe, Captain.
You're not a part of the crew. Again, who are you?
My name is Marlowe, Captain. I've been sailing under your command now for the last 5 days. Did I do something wrong, Captain?
Why are you on this ship? You are not a part of its crew.
Oh, there must be some misunderstanding. Captain Fleet employed me just before his untimely death.
And what did he employ you for?
Oh, to join the crew.
To do what?
To be a sailor?
Where are you from?
He kind of hesitates here and looks at you and says, I'm from Pelargir.
How did a sailor from Pelargir end up on the docks in Londare to be hired by a random captain?
Well, Captain Fleet is known in my hometown, and he traded there, and I sought employment from him, and he was good enough to offer it.
So he offered you employment in Pelargir,
That is correct.
but yet the crew didn't know about it from the time you got on board of Pelargir until we set sail from Londare, and they still didn't know about you?
Oh, no. You see, he could not promise me employment right away, but he did say that I might find work here in West Haven. So he transported me to West Haven, and then just the day before he died, he hired me as a sailor.
So as he transported you from Pelargir to West Haven, none of the crew saw you in that entire voyage.
Perhaps they forgot me. I have a forgettable face, I've been told.
Can I insight check this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Zurich,
You all can.
Zurich mutters
Why
under
you're
his
here.
face, you have a punchable face.
All right. Let's see. Do my insight. Ugh, I do technically have my rhymes of lore. I'm gonna use that.
And Moonstalker, you can make an insight too. Like
16. Which, if that's a success, it is a magical success.
Moonstalker to you, you feel like you got it all wrong. This guy's an upstanding sailor. No, I'm kidding. 16 is not high enough. For the 17, Zurich, the only thing you notice as this conversation is happening is that Marlowe is clenching and unclenching his fists.
What a coincidence. So am I.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I'm certainly keen that he's getting agitated, so I'll pay even more attention to what he's doing with his hands.
Is his name written down in the book where we looked for the crew members? Was his name notated in there anywhere?
The manifest.
Yeah.
Manifest?
No, it is not.
Well,
Okay.
I think you're lying to me here, Marlowe, because your name's not on the manifest. And if he would have hired you, your name would have been on the manifest.
There must be some error then. Because most certainly I've been hired by Captain Fleet himself. Perhaps he didn't have a chance to update the manifest before he was murdered.
Well, I'm sure he had time to make a notation if he had decided to hire you when he made the decision.
Yeah, while they're talking, can I look in the ledger to see if this ship came from the place that the guy said he was picked up at? And they would have made notation of passengers that they were taking with them. So I'm checking to see, like, did this ship pick up a passenger and bring them to West Haven like he claims that he did?
So there are logs indicating that there were trips to Palagir, but no mention of passengers.
Yeah. I will
But I will
make
say
note.
this: you already know that Johann Fleet's books are
Sure.
not always accurate.
Sure. But I will say that um it doesn't have record that they took
I
a
don't
passenger.
know what to say, ma'am. I mean, how else would I have arrived in West Haven?
Well, so far, all we have is your word that you belong here and you are hired and you're supposed to be here. And that doesn't bode well for you, my friend. You best be giving me make me a believer real quick before we decide to put you ashore in the Black Forest.
I don't know what to say. If Captain Fleet didn't have any record of me, then, and you won't take my word, you surely can't strand me out here in the middle of nowhere. You might as well sentence me to death. You might as well drown me or stick me with a sword right here and now.
Look at you, Calio and Zerk.
Mm-hmm.
Zerk shrugs.
I still am wondering, what is your connection to the supposed beggar that had a connection with the former captain? Because I spoke to that beggar who looks an awful lot like you, but acts nothing at all like you. And you claim to have never seen me or spoken to me before. Was that a lie?
I don't know what beggar you speak of, ma'am.
Where were you staying in West Haven while you waited for this job?
I was staying at the next best ship. It's an inn and tavern, but by the docks.
Mm-hmm. The only person that we've seen that looks like him, though, is the beggar on the docks. Um, I will write on a slip of paper and hand it to Moonstalker. Actually, oh, but I don't know if you can understand it, so I'm not going to risk it. Yes, I will write on a slip of paper and hand it to Moonstalker, and on the paper, it'll say, "Should we confront about the sword?"
And I'm going to say in Sindarin, Sword?
Saying it to me or just checking if he recognizes the word?
Yep. Saying it to you. Any reaction from our guest?
No, he's just looking back and forth at you.
And then Zadar, and they'll say, just, I'm going to say, well, I think we should throw him overboard and let the fish have him. Any reaction?
Nope, he's just looking back and forth at the two of you.
I think it's safe to say whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, ask Moonstalker in Cinderin, even if we decide to toss him over, I want answers. Should we say anything about the sword?
Sark, what would you say if there was a crew member armed on a ship that wasn't supposed to be armed?
I would say that approach is mutiny, Captain.
Maybe we should do a bunk check to see if anybody has any weapons.
Anybody without weapons wouldn't mind that one bit.
All right, why don't you head to below decks and go ahead and do that while we finish this interview up here.
Marla says, "Wait.
Yes.
I have a weapon, but it's an heirloom."
Well, does Zurich have permission to go retrieve it from your bunk?
Yes, of course. It's in a bedroll beneath my cot.
And I will nod towards Zurich.
Zurich chuckles. My lady, I'm not your errand. Boy, you can send the bosun or the deckhand.
I'll go myself.
I can go get it.
No, you stay here. I will go below decks and get the sword.
Then Zurich's going to follow you because his intention was not to leave you in this room alone with this stranger. So if you walk out, he absolutely just follows you.
Well, I mean, Moonstalker is still in there. So, like, even if I'm in there with the guy, Moonstalker is in there as well.
What you have to do is just take a step out and
and
let
call
me
for
know.
somebody. Yeah.
Because I'm the one who knows where it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get Turk to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll ask Turk to retrieve the sword.
All right. Oh, so Turk is going down, Zurich and Eucalio, you're going to stay in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we can't all leave.
Okay.
I'll stay there with my hand on my sword hilt.
I'm a good worker. I'm a good sailor. There's no need for any. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding.
Of course there is. We all have heirloom swords stashed in our bunks.
Right. Zurich, you easily find the sword. You know exactly where it is.
Turk.
Turk, sorry,
Yeah.
Turk.
Yeah.
And you can pull. You bring it back up.
Well, yes. You said it's hidden. Is it wrapped in rags or something, or?
It's in the bedroll.
Okay, I'll bring the bedroll up then, so it's not obvious.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So you walk back into the captain's quarters with this bedroll. It obviously has something heavy in it, more than just a bedroll.
Yeah, set it over on the desk behind Moonstalker, and I want to look at it. See if I recognize it.
Right,
Zurich is hawking this guy with he's not gonna be able to make a move without Zurich pouncing on him. So
all right,
that's where
go ahead and make an old lore check for me, please.
Okay.
Calio.
Old lore check.
Nice.
And it's a magical success if that's a success.
So you look at the designs on the hilt, the patterns emblazoned into the metal pommel, and you recognize it as a symbol of ancient Numenor.
Gotcha.
And more associated with the Southlands than the
Gotcha.
Dunedain.
Mm-hmm. Does it appear to be just a well-crafted ancient sword, or does it appear to be some sort of like known legendary weapon kind of thing?
It is not a legendary weapon, but it is a very fine sword.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I will, after taking a look at the sword, I will say this is a very finely crafted Numenorian sword. You say it's been passed down in your family?
Yes, exactly. It belonged to my great-great-grandfather.
What was his name?
I don't know.
That's a shame. You should remember your own history better than that.
I'm ashamed I don't know it better. I wish I did. But that sword is all I have to connect me to my past and my family.
Well, how about this? This is my suggestion to the captain. You, as far as we've been sailing, are a good member of the crew thus far. However, because of the questions about your origin and reason for being here, you can understand why we can't fully trust you, which means we can't trust you to be carrying in your possession such a powerful weapon. However, it is an heirloom of your family. My suggestion is you allow us to keep this heirloom weapon under lock and key for the duration of this journey, and it will be returned to you at the end of the journey. The alternative is most likely the captain suggesting kicking you off the ship.
I accept.
And I will turn to Moonstalker. Do you think that that's fair?
I will take Lady Eucaliel's advice, and we will give you this chance. But be warned, you are being watched. And if anything seems strange, you will be put off ship.
Of course.
All right.
Dismissed.
All right. He quickly stands up, pushes the chair open behind him, probably right into you, sir. You're standing right next to him. And rushes out the door.
We need to find out what the captain of the guard said to him as we
Yeah.
left dock.
Unfortunately, how are we going to find that? We can't turn around.
Well, we've got him on the ropes now. I think we just ask Marlowe what that interaction was about.
True. And we have been rather magnanimous. So hopefully he'll be a little bit more honest. But yes.
Did you try and tell us everything you find out about the sword? because you didn't say it in front of him.
Yes, after he leaves, I will tell you everything that I found out about the sword.
So then he's lying from where he's from. He's not from Pelargir.
True.
If that's a family heirloom and is from the Southlands, then he is from the Southlands.
Indeed.
Unless that's the lie.
Which confirms my suspicion.
Unless he's a thief. And he stole the sword. He made up the story.
True. But, I mean, if he's a thief, then that's a lesser concern. He's less dangerous as a random thief who stole a sword than,
Agent of the South.
Exactly.
Why? What's so bad about being an agent of the South?
The men of the South sided with Sauron.
Or will.
Oh, they did.
Eventually.
Did in the past.
They did. In the last alliance of men and elves, the Southlanders fought with Sauron.
Ah.
Indeed.
Seeing that he went to, they were talking to him, is Agra around here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's always around.
Okay, then I want to go up to him. You're from West Haven. When we got there was a beggar on the docks, and everyone said he was part of the Cinery. How long ago did he appear?
Didn't like the looks of that one. Always milling about, doing nothing but taking up space. Been seeing him there maybe a couple of weeks before you arrived.
I don't know why everyone said he was part of the Cinery if it was just 2 weeks then. It sounded like he had been there years.
No, definitely not. I mean, he was there, maybe longer than 2 weeks, but always there. Always same spot. No one really, not that I recall ever saw him ever get up and even go take a piss.
Maybe he just appeared one day, sitting there.
Just seemed that way. Odd.
Interesting.
See Agra look across the horizon and you can see dark clouds rolling in. Looks like the weather's turning. Rough seas ahead. You better
Right.
grab yourself a clean bucket there, Missy.
I will. Now that I was getting used to this. Okay.
All right. So is there anything else you guys want to do before the storm hits?
We need
Is there
Batten down the hatches?
Oh, yeah, the crew knows how to prepare for a storm, so yeah, they're prepping the ship.
Yeah. In the captain's cabin, is there any keys or cabinets that we could lock the sword up in?
Not big enough to hold a sword. No.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hide it behind the. I'm assuming the bed has a headboard on it.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it between the bulkhead and the headboard of the bed.
All right. Fair enough. All right. As the storm hits that night, I need you all to make another Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Also, have we all moved to sleeping in the captain's cabin now? Now that one of us is the captain?
I said you guys could, so.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, I said you guys want to come in. Wow, Moonstalker failed.
Look at Goldie.
Let's
Feeling
see.
better.
Oh no.
All right. So
Hang on. I think I'm gonna use my inspiration here because
Galileo failed too. Yeah.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Oh, why not? I'll use mine too. Alright.
Come on, do better. There we go. 18.
I might as well use mine as well.
Better than seven. Seven's better than a 1.
That's true.
Yes. We don't know what we're rolling here, other than it's a storm, correct?
Yep. Well, no, this is to see if you guys are able to weather the storm without
See
exhaustion.
if you're puking your guts out.
But we have okay. So if we fail it, and then we have exhaustion, at that point we can't use inspiration to get it back.
You know what you should be doing with inspiration is rolling with advantage before you roll. Is how you use inspiration typically. Not rolling after the fact.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave mine as is then.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, Turk and Moonstalker, you guys are feeling the pounding waves rock this boat in ways that even you, in your experience on the waters, are not accustomed to. And you both wake up with a point of exhaustion the following day. And you're also blown. You lose a day as you're blown a little off course and have to adjust your course. You are basically running along the south coast of Harlinden. You can see off in the distance to the north the peaks of the Blue Mountains. Zurich.
Yeah.
You look upon those peaks and you know
this
that you're home.
Yeah,
Lies
so after
in
the
the south.
storm clears, he'll walk to the side of the boat and just look longingly, I guess. It's the first time he's seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
And probably from this perspective.
Yeah. The Harmelt was like closer to the southern end of the range too, wasn't
Southern
it?
spur of the Blue Mountains, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the closest you've ever been to your home since you left.
Since a while. It definitely tugs on the heartstrings.
I will try to sketch the scenery.
Okay. Go ahead, make a performance check to see how well you capture this moment.
Okay. Just a warning, everyone. My charisma rolls aren't.
Maybe Zurk will grace us with a song from his homeland.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I'm not used to having to draw while on a moving object.
So yeah, you produce this piece of
a child's refrigerator drawing.
Do you show it to Zurich?
Yes.
Zurich thinks it's beautiful, and he says, real in like with complete sincerity, "May I have this?"
Yes. I'm sorry, it's not better.
It's wonderful, and he just takes it and he folds it into a 4 and puts it in his chest pocket by his heart. Thank you, he says.
You're welcome.
Watch out, Hunter Biden's getting competition now in the art world.
The day after the storm as well, Marlowe approaches you, Eucaliel.
Mm-hmm.
He says, my lady, do you mind if we have a conversation in private?
I will look around before answering to see if any of my compatriots are close by.
Yeah, I would say that they're kind of hanging out. They're out and about.
Okay.
Zerk's never too far away.
All right. I will meet eyes with Zurich, and try to like catch his attention so that I know that he's aware of me. But I won't say anything. And then I turn back to Marlowe and just say, "Of course," and
And
follow
he kind
him
of,
to the
yeah,
private conversation area.
yeah, sure. He takes you right to the front of the ship,
Hmm.
um, where there's not much activity. Sir, how close do you want to stay to them?
Definitely in eye shot, and my speed is 25, so 25 feet away.
All right. So Marlowe kind of leans over prow of the ship, kind of facing out into the waters.
Hmm.
His back to Zurich, and he speaks in a hushed voice, so you kind of almost have to lean in to hear what he
Hmm.
says. Just, my lady, I feel I can trust you. I
What?
was
Go ahead.
with your kindness and your the way you diffused that awkward situation with the captain. I never had a chance to thank you, so
Of course.
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I want to be a valuable member of this crew. And you asked for honesty, and I fear that I was withholding perhaps some details of my story that might be relevant to you.
I would be happy to hear them.
He kind of glances over his shoulder back down past you towards Zurich and realizes that he's watching the two of you. Is does he have to be here? Does he have to be so close?
He would be more concerned if he wasn't.
He just kind of sighs and says, "Fine." Um, Captain Fleet hired me. You see, all of his trade routes and his uh, interests lay to the south, but he was also interested in venturing northward and making trade with the Shire and the elves of Rivendell and Bree. And he had hired me to venture north and to establish relations with these areas. But before that could happen, he was cut down. So I stowed away on this ship because I really had nowhere else to go.
All right. Well, without him needing these tasks completed, what are your future plans?
My stay in West Haven has been brief, but enjoyable, and I wish to serve the Queen faithfully, loyally. If Captain Fleet meant to travel north to establish relationships with these communities there, I think I would still like to do that very much. And I understand we are to make port in the Grey Havens,
That's correct.
which is close to the Shire, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Perhaps I can continue my task. At least start there and make my way eastward to Bree and perhaps even Rivendell beyond that.
I don't believe that we are intending on detaining any of the crew once we arrive in the Grey Havens. You're free to leave. And once we get there and you disembark, your sword will be returned to you. So,
And I thank you for that. And as you have already discovered, I'm not a real member of this crew, so I thank you for your generosity and not throwing me overboard.
of course.
But you being a lady, an elf lady, I don't know the road to Rivendell. I was wondering if you could.
I'm sorry, I do not have the authority to tell you where Rivendell is. All I can say is that if you head east from Bree towards the mountains, they will find you.
His eyes widen. You mean the elves? Your kin?
Yes, if you stumble into their territory, they will find you. There's no need for me to tell you where to go.
Or the trolls.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell him that. Anybody in that area will tell him there are trolls.
That's so east from Bree.
East from Bree.
There's the Great East Road. Is that the right path?
I believe so. I think that's what it's called.
You have been so kind.
Of course. Now, I have a question for you, since you wish to be so much more honest. And I want you to respond honestly to me. Were you the beggar on the docks?
He looks away from you and out across the sea and then bows his head. Yes,
Thank you.
that was me.
Why the strange identity? Why the strange behavior?
I was ashamed. I was brought to West Haven by Captain Fleet. He promised me a job and had plans for me, but they never really came to fruition. And in the meantime, I had to make my own way somehow. And there's great distrust for men like me from the South within West Haven. Employment is hard to come by.
I'm going to insight check on that response.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You notice as he's saying this to you, he cannot make eye contact with you.
Mm.
And his eyes are a little shifty.
Does it seem like what he's saying, that it's shame, or does it seem like he's trying to hide, like he's not being truthful still?
Yeah, it's not shame that he's
Gotcha. It's dishonesty. Okay.
Shifty.
I will just cross my arms and say, I am giving you the respect of assuming that you're going to be honest with me. And yet, you're not.
He looks away from you again and says, I'm sorry, lady. I've had difficulty trusting people as of late.
I've given you no reason not to trust me. I've never done anything towards you that was in any way hostile or harmful.
This is true. You've shown nothing but kindness.
I even fed you on the docks when I didn't even know anything about you.
Oh, the apple, by the way, was quite delicious. Thank you.
You're welcome. That apple was from Rivendell.
Oh, an elvish apple. I will treasure the memory of eating that in every bite.
So tell me the truth. This is your last chance.
It was Captain Fleet. He asked me to sit on the dockside and observe. Observe for strangers. Observe the goings on. And then he looks directly at you. Yes. Observe you and your friends.
And what did you tell him about us?
That you were kind, that you gave me an apple, and the hobbit lady over there, she gave me some food too. That you're kind and generous. I'm curious.
Well, I will say, most of my compatriots do not trust you because you're from the Southlands. But I will speak up for you as long as you remain truthful and you don't endanger us or the crew.
You know, I am no danger to them. I'm just a sailor.
Now, I will leave it up to my friends whether or not they choose to give you people that you can speak to in the Shire or in Bree, because there are members of my fellowship that are from both places. But I've already said that when you arrive near Rivendell, they will find you, and as long as you are honest and not hostile, they will treat you with respect. So I don't need to give you any names of people to vouch for you.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I would greatly appreciate if you tell Master Dwarf there that perhaps you can stop giving me the stink eye. I'd really appreciate that.
I'll do my best. He sort of gives that to everyone. You're not special in that regard. But yes.
I promise I will pull my weight on this ship. You need not worry about me any longer. And no more lies, I promise.
All right. And I will nod to him, and I will let him leave because I don't want to like turn my back on him and walk away. So I'll just say, you can go back to.
Okay. He kind of does a quick little head bow to you and walks back towards ship and kind of tries to like walk past you, Zurich. You're kind of like broad, so he's just kind of
Brushing shoulders, perhaps?
Sidles
Yeah.
past you.
Yeah, once he's gone, I will meet back up with Zurich and um, I will say, that I've got more information on him that I can share with everyone. And if we
Alright.
all choose to meet up, I will share everything that he told me.
If only it were true. Let's meet in the captain's quarters.
Yep. Yep. Meet up in the captain's quarters. I will share when I knew he was lying, although I know that I didn't check like every 5 seconds, but
Every word that came out of his mouth was a lie.
yeah.
All right. So you guys debrief. Is there any questions you want to ask Eucaliel about that interaction?
We still don't know why he talked with the captain of the guard.
I was going to ask him that, and it totally slipped my mind.
No, that's okay. You're building a rapport with this person, right? The
Next time I bump
veteran.
into him, I'll
Yeah.
ask him.
So he sounds like a spy from the south to me, trying to locate Rivendell,
Sure.
establish relations with the Shire and Bree.
Sure.
That sounds like a spy from the Southlands.
Yep.
All right. Who wants to make the next journey roll?
Not me.
Zurich's turn.
Oh yeah. All right. D20.
Yeah.
Here goes nothing.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
You guys are rolling decently.
I'm the only one who seems to roll horribly on these journey rolls.
Okay.
I roll bad if you don't remember.
True.
And who wants to roll another d20?
Sure, I'll roll.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Checking the map here. 19. All right.
How far have we gone?
Just about to tell you. All right. So you guys are just south of the peninsula of Harlinden. So if you look at your player journey map, show you where that is. You guys have been traveling for 7 days now.
Okay.
So you see the forested area under. If you look at the name Linden, the D, 3 hexes down, there's a forest hex.
Uh-huh.
And then a blank hex to the right.
Yeah.
If you were to go 2 hexes immediately below that, that is where you are now.
Okay, cool.
So you guys are making good progress.
Right to the left of the inn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like across
Yep.
from it. Yep. Okay, cool.
So at this point, if the weather holds up, sorry, it's 6 years. You've been traveling 7 days. All right.
Okay.
1, 2. Yeah, you guys are making very, very good time.
Nice.
And at this point, you actually pass what looks to be another fleet of fishing vessels.
Oh, cool.
And as you kind of pass by them, they kind of wave at you as they're pulling in their nets.
Cool.
This is the first sign of civilization that you guys have seen over the past week. All right. Make another journey check. Who wants to make that roll?
Goldie and
Actually, can I do a wood carving check?
Oh, yeah, please. And those of you with exhaustion can clear it now. It's been a day since the storm.
Dex. 17
Right.
this time?
17. The pipe is looking good. Looking good. If you like, you can make. It is good enough now, but if you want to hold on to it and make it like a really nice piece, you can continue to work on it if you like.
Yeah, I'll work on it for the next couple days while we're traveling. So
All right. But it's coming along quite nicely.
close to a meerschaum as I can with a little design on it of a. Let's see, what would a hobbit like? A fish head.
Potato.
Fish head?
Interesting choice.
You're a boatman, are you not?
Well, river, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, fish in the river, right?
Catfish.
that's true.
All right. Who's making the next journey check?
I think.
Anna, have you?
Not that
Yeah, I
me.
think it's Goldie's too.
Fine.
All right,
I'm
go
scared.
ahead.
It's okay. That's like what my journey rolls are.
Nope.
Okay. Someone roll a d20 for me, please.
I can do that.
All
Okay.
right.
I was going to say, I was originally going to, but I don't think that two people who roll low should roll together.
All right. So, you round the corner around that peninsula of Linden, and you catch a good tailwind. It's rare in this direction and going from a south-northerly direction, but you managed to move. You managed to actually get another extra day's journey out of that. So by the time the tailwind ends, you are approaching the mouth of the Bay of Loon. You're just maybe 4
Nice.
hexes south away from it. One more day to the Bay of Loon. All right, next journey check. Who's doing it?
I think that would probably be my turn, right?
Mhm.
Okay. D20. Oh, nice.
Okay, you guys are rolling really well here. Okay. And who's making one more d20 roll?
Sure, I'll do D20.
Wait.
16.
Yeah, you guys did really well. So, you guys managed to get to the Grey Havens in
Oh,
12
wow.
days.
That's awesome. Those is like most of our journeys take longer than it was supposed to.
Yeah, no, you guys rolled really well there. Like barely any rolls under like 14, so that helped. There could have been some really bad things that happened to you, but you guys avoided them all.
I was gonna say,
Mhm.
before we get there, as we're getting close, Goldie's been shifty this whole time trying to avoid everyone, but if someone says, we're gonna be there tomorrow, I think Goldie's gonna get a Turk that night and just can we talk? Can we talk?
Sure, cousin. Are you feeling good?
No. Someone should forbid ships like this to happen. Don't like this. However, there's something else. Now I'm gonna go to a place like no one's there. Very shifty looking around, making sure no one's there. I might have done something really bad, and I don't know how to tell everyone. I think you're not gonna judge me for it. I hope you don't. But I killed Fleet back in was it?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was a really annoying and deceitful man. Um, oh my goodness. And you've been living with this all this time?
Well, I've been trying to focus on not um throwing up everything I eat, which has been helpful. I I don't know. I We were talking the day before about, and I was thinking about how much easier it'd be if I was more like uh Orla and maybe fix things. They didn't have a problem with fixing things when there was a problem, and he seemed like a problem, and I didn't want to travel with him, and uh, that was that's what was happening, and I didn't want to. And what if I made things worse? I mean, it's not what if I made things worse.
Well, you have to think about those two sisters and what they did. And I think you're going to need to realize that there are other ways. And right now, I mean, what's happened has happened. We cannot turn back time. Um, but perhaps from this point forward, um, you you don't want to go down the path that those two sisters took, do you?
What if I don't know? What I don't want to, but there's a lot of things I don't want to. What if that's what we need to be? What if they were right?
I I'm getting a note saying trying to reconnect.
We can
Everyone,
hear you.
okay.
Mhm.
I wonder what that's all about. Anyways, sorry. Um, cousin, I'll never judge you for what's happened. I mean, I've seen things over my short life, but I don't think we, I don't think you, I don't think any of us should be going down that path. That's the path of the enemy. That's the path of the shadow.
But they're working for the same person we are. Are we then regardless part of the shadow?
I'm not sure what you mean working for the same person.
They were working for the wizard. We are also working for the wizard.
Yes,
Does
and
it
he's
mean
our
that
patron.
he's he's supposed
Well, cousin, I think some of those decisions are it just doesn't it's never felt right with me, and I just said I don't know how you. Well, obviously, I can see how you may be dealing with it. I just think that it's above a hobbit's pay grade, and it didn't sit well with me. Those sisters. I tried to bring Orla back in some of my talks with her, and I think I was making some progress. If you want, we can keep talking about this. I don't think that you should go down that path. I don't think it's right, and I don't necessarily agree with with what Saruman is doing. He is kind of revealing himself to be using too much of his enemy's tactics. That's not a very Hobbit word, though, is it? Tactics.
But if that's what we need to be like the bad guys to beat them.
I think you need to come back from that.
Do you think the others are gonna hate me for what I did?
No.
Not very convinced.
I can't speak for them. But I think they know us now. So I don't think they will pass judgment. You might want to roll it in insight on that one, Goldie.
Oh no, she's not. I always thought I'd be going back home after this, but
Yes.
I don't think I can.
I think I agree with you there. But to be honest, there's so much more. I think we've seen so much of this world that we never would have before, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. You know, think of Bilbo. Think of all the things Bilbo got to see and do, and the stories he's able to tell, and he still ended up going back home.
Yeah, well, he doesn't talk particularly about murdering someone in the streets.
I don't know if we heard all of Bilbo's stories. Maybe he did.
Hobbit optimism.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe if we succeed in whatever we're doing, we can go back. Or I can go back. You're fine.
I think so. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to me. I don't know. I didn't know how to tell you. Yeah. Thank you.
I think. Is it okay if do you want a hug?
No. Good habits deserve a hug. I don't.
I'm going to hug you anyways.
I will try
Because
to walk away.
Oh.
Not yet.
So, despite the heavy mood that has
Right.
fallen upon Goldie, is there anything else you wanted to do, Goldie?
She is gonna. If we're sleeping in the captain's chamber, she will go in. If it's nighttime, is it nighttime? Was it nighttime?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I would avoid it for nighttime, I think, so there's less people milling around the boat or the ship, and just try to huddle up whatever she was and pretend to go sleep. And maybe tell the others in the morning. Just gonna think about that.
As you've entered the Bay of Loon now, you've been traveling its length for the last couple of days, and you're maybe a day out from Grey Havens. You've been seeing more and more fishing boats kind of within this bay. It's quite sheltered from a lot of the elements. It's literally smoother sailing once you've entered. And as this night, the day before you're expected to make port in the Grey Havens, you see a single ship approaching you from the direction of the Grey Havens. It is beautiful, of elvish design, double-masted sailing vessel, drifting past your own boat silently, and you can see upon its decks a number of elves standing there and singing. It is the same song that you heard from the elves passing you in the forest those many months ago. Was that this campaign or is that the other one? Can't recall now. But anyway.
Yeah, we saw it.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
was
you saw it.
around when we went and saw the troll.
Right. Okay. All right.
Either that or the troll.
Yeah. So yes, you see a number of elves.
I want to try to join their song with my flute. I just hope that I don't have to roll for it because it's like I know this song.
Yeah, no, I won't make you roll. But clearly, Eucaliel, you know exactly where these elves are going.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving them a send off and like letting them know that there's one of us nearby, which is why I'm playing the flute in the hopes that they hear me.
Are they singing in Sindarin or Koinian?
Kenyon.
Yeah, can't help then.
Yep.
And as they disappear into the west, the following day, you find yourselves approaching docks of the Grey Havens.
I think after the ship passes, I'll sort of like once I'm done playing the music, I'll sort of like turn to the others and just be like, "That's gonna be me someday, most likely." Sooner rather than later, if my father has anything to say about it.
And as you pull your ship to the docks, you see an elderly-looking elf, as elves go, with white hair, white beard, white cloak, and a blue tunic underneath, standing on the shores. Greet you.
He must be ancient.
I will bow.
And you would recognize him, Eucaliel, as Círdan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I will bow and greet him by name and introduce myself.
He smiles warmly at you. And that is where we will end tonight.
We made it.
Yay! What's the date, by the way?
It is the 10th of Winterfell.
Okay.
Why does he look like Jeff Daniels? Hey, dude!
He just looks like he's chilling wearing some sandals. Let's see.
I'm going to stop recording here.